Hey, you welcome back to World Entertainment and a review for episode 3 of Terminator Zero. This is getting even more interesting with some of the stuff we learn and see how it operates and all this type of stuff. The animation again is strong. It's very unique, so I really appreciate that. This one we do finally get Timothy Oliphant speaking. And that is confirmed that he is this Terminator that got sent back. Don't know what model he's supposed to be. Like, when you see the endoskeleton being put together in the first episode before it gets sent back, you would say it's a T-800, but it's Asian looking, so he's absolutely not a T-800. He can't be, because we know they all look like Arnie. But the kids are in this underground, this old city that was built underground, which was built after the bombs were dropped in the war. And that's where they kept everything going for quite a while on the off chance that more bombs would fall. So they're down there. The boys are after the sister because this robot cat has pissed off on them. But what they don't know is this Terminator can connect to technology of the time, so he can connect to cameras, like security cameras and stuff. He can upload stuff into it. But he can also connect by scanning the barcode of the toy cat. He can upload commands, by the looks of it, into the cat and basically be able to get locations through the cat. So that's what he does and how he goes to find the kids. While that's happening, our Reese of the story, her and the nanny, she's brought her down into the tunnels to find the kids, and she's getting weak because she's bleeding from the arm where he shot her in the second episode. And the nanny's like, there should be a pharmacy down here. You wait here. I'll be right back. I promise. But she handcuffs herself to the nanny. And she's like, oh, you can't be doing this. So they go and she stitches her up and stuff. And she's explained, like the Reese of the story, she's explaining, look, we gotta go to a gun store. Yeah, surely there's a gun store down here. And they're like, gun stores? Like, you've got a gun, which she got off one of the cops. And she's like, this isn't gonna cut it. Like, and then the nanny kind of explains the whole story about terrorists. There was a terrorist attack in a subway where there was no guns. They just used some chemicals and caused mass damage. Like, and she's saying you'd be surprised what you can do with very little. But the nanny doesn't understand what's coming for them. So while they're all down there, the Terminator's obviously on its way. He's changed he was in like construction clothes, and he sees this guy across the street in a suit, and that's where he gets the suit from, which he killed, by the way. Malcolm is very much having like a philosophical conversation with his AI system. The AI system is still pushing him on the whole thing of what is it about humanity that's worth saving. And he's literally going, there's literally nothing worth saving. You know, he goes, I can't mention anything that is what humanity contributed to make our lives better that doesn't affect someone else or doesn't affect plant life or animals or anything like that. So the system is clearly working. And we have a Reese of the story telling the nanny, like, he doesn't know what he's doing. So by the sounds of it, her future has that his AI system sounds like it's another version of Skynet. It may even be Skynet itself in disguise, because he built it to combat against Skynet, but he's terrified to activate it on the fear, on the grounds as well, that it will do the exact same thing that Skynet did, which is turn against humanity. And he keeps having the dreams of the nukes going off and all this stuff, and they end up, the kids find a big storeroom full of those helper robot things. So the older brother thinks it's heaven because he loves messing around with this stuff, and here's all these ones just sitting here that he can take apart and start screwing about with. So he does that. Well, the daughter girl is still off looking for the robot cat, and the other brother went with her. Out of the other brother, not the one that loves the tech stuff, the other brother and the sister, I don't know which one's older. I think the sister's meant to be the youngest, I think. But the way they interact, it almost seems like the brother is younger. I'm not 100% sure. But they go off and the cat wigs out because this is where the Terminator has linked up with it, and it goes running off. So she goes running off after it and tells the brother that's with her, like the younger brother, go tell our older brother what's going on. So he goes looking for him while she goes running for the cat, and she can't find the cat, and she eventually does, and it's in the corner of this little kind of restaurant type thing, little takeaway or something. And the cat starts wigging out again, and she's like, what the hell's going on? And all of a sudden, you see the Terminator walking on, and this is where it starts to speak. And it's very like, oh, hey there, little girl, what are you doing down here on your own? And it's Timothy Oliphant and stuff. And he's like trying to convince her, oh, you know, you should come with me. It's not safe down here. You could bump into anything and anyone. And she doesn't, and then immediately tries to attack her and kill her. And then she's running away from it. It's after her. And then our Reese of the story finds it, catches up, starts shooting it. But she starts throwing these bottles at its leg. And you're like, what is that? And the Terminator's even looking at it, trying to analyze it, trying to figure out, like, what the hell's she doing? And then she'd jump behind it and she'd throw another one at the back of it. And it turns out it was like acid or something. It was damaging the knee joint of the endoskeleton. Like, it obviously burnt away a bit of the trousers and the skin and stuff, but you could see sparks starting to come out. So she was slowing it down. But again, this is where we see that she's not going to be this ultra badass, unstoppable woman, because when she's fighting it, she throws a move like for a kick, and he grabs her leg with the hand that he's got that little crossbow, and immediately shoots her in the leg with an arrow. So now she's shot in the arm, and now she's got this big nail in her leg, and she shoots him in the face then. She didn't shoot him in the face. She threw like a bottle of something at her, whether it was a Molotov cocktail or something, I'm not sure. But the head part goes on fire. She tells the rest of them to run, so they do. Actually, she done that before she got shot in the leg. Tells them to run, then she gets shot in the leg. And it ignores her then. Once she's not a threat, he ignores her. And that's the interesting, even though she's from the future, when he's scanning and you can see all the information stuff, it comes up threat level. And it's said flat out, threat level low. So she's not a threat to it. So he sees that the older brother is bleeding from the head, and he can track the blood. And he follows them, and the Reese of the story, she runs in and turns all the power back on in the area. She catches up to all of them. The girl fell at the top of an escalator, while the nanny and the other two brothers had gone up the next escalator. And the Reese of the story, she arrives. She shoots the Terminator, and she says, like, get them out there. I'll look after her. So they do eventually leave. She's trying to protect the girl. She starts fighting. She throws acid purposely to miss him. She knows you'd move to miss him, to hit the door of a lift behind her. Elevator for our American viewers. And she starts kind of grappling the Terminator and tells the girl to, like, open the door. You know, run over and open the door. And she's there, and she's getting, like, hammered by the Terminator. But the kid opens the door, and she just hits the knee, or shoots the Terminator in the knee, which wigs it out a bit, and she's able to push him out and down into the elevator shaft. And she says, like, he'll be back. You know, that's not going to stop him. She doesn't do it like the Terminator or anything like that. She'll be back or anything like that. She just flat out goes like, he'll be back. That's not going to stop him. We got to move. And while she's out breaking into a car, cop shows up, and he's like, everything okay? And she's like, oh shit. He's like, and then she just stand over there for a minute, and then he sees the gun and calls for backup. So she kicks the shit out of him. Now she has no problem kicking the shit out of people. It's a Terminator though she has a massive issue with. But she gets the car, Well, she leaves that car and she ends up taking the cop car. And she looks up and there's the Terminator walking out of the kind of mist in front of them. And she's like, uh-oh. And goes driving off with him about to shoot at her. And that's where that episode ends. So again, another good episode. Another strong story development between Malcolm Lee and his AI and what that system is going to do. And now the Terminator is getting a lot more active in it as well. So it's a very interesting animated show. And it really does add to the lore of Terminator, so I'm enjoying it so far. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.